Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a long time since I did a intro portion, but I'm just here to give up my clarification. As you can see, I'm returning back to Pokemon. However, it's not a guaranteed since I am still wary of it. And even now, as of recording, editing, or upload of the video, I'm still wary, especially when, working on this story particularly. I was really undecided on, how to proceed with it, that I decided to mix it in together. So I need your help with this one. It's really important to know that from your comment section that I want to see some criticism or like anything that you guys could say if this is a bit too pushing the boundaries too far, or it's okay or not. I'm all right with it. Like anything as possible, like in the comment section wise, I'm okay. Just please, I need to know how you guys feel about this story because I am really unsure about it. And well, I'll let you guys be the deciding factor in the end. So with that, see you guys at the end of the video. Numerous adventures takes place throughout time and space, in various settings, across various areas, and in endless number of worlds populated by both humans and Pokemon. The purpose of a journey is to fulfill one's desires. The cosmos is so mysterious that anything, even the most bizarre situation, could occur. Cynthia, the Sinnoh region champion, has been thoroughly researching the Sinjoh ruins, while also smiling adoringly as she observed her son, Ash, doing the same. So, what does he think of the temple so far? Quite interesting on the blended culture of Sinnoh and Johto, really helped rattle his brain. Cynthia nods, pleased to see his eagerness, then goes on to explain that history is full of mystery waiting to be discovered and learn something new. Do you think I'll be able to find my dream? Cynthia is well aware of her son's issues, and so hugs him close while smiling sorrowfully and says that only he can find the answers. To locate what he seeks, he must first go past his concerns. With that, they continue their excursion. Ash is deep in thought on what his mother said, so much so that he discovers an odd relic that was previously absent. It looks like a ring when he examines, and as he turned to ask his mother, "She's gone?" Disturbed, he looks around for her, and then feels a vibration from his palm. What follows is the relic emits some kind of energy which promptly enveloped him. Before he can comprehend, a rift is formed in the sky above Mount Coronet. As light shines down on Sinnoh and the rest of the world, reality starts to distort. To Ash's horror, the fissure widens and becomes more unstable until it implodes, devouring everything in a split second, being erased into nothing. Ash screamed into a void of light. All that remained was the sound of silence, only to be broken by a mutter, then a murmur. Eventually, the source jolted out of his slumber and yelled in terror. Ash checks to see everything is fine. Cynthia came in, calmed him down, and asked what happened. He apologized and recalled his strange dream, saying he must have dozed off while looking at some research notes. Cynthia spun the idea of his dream being an omen, one of which be a reminder and possibly a clue for the rift. Now, it may sound speculative for an info, at least it's better than going in circles. They've been studying the rift for a long while, although it's not the only thing they do. Traveling across Pasio, talking about anything related to Pokemon or mythology, watching his mom's matches, and etc. Maybe they should take a break given the time. Cynthia sighs but agrees. As much as she wants to continue, it's for the best to clear their minds, that as well as the mess. She might join him later because of a meeting she has with her colleagues and the professors. and with a knowing smile, gave a remark on his karma. Ash paused for a moment before giving a light chuckle that lifted his spirits. Strolling around town, Ash observes the people and Pokemon going about their daily lives. He stops at a nearby bench to reflect and observe trainers from a distance. Everyone has something to strive for, but he hasn't because of his doubts. So seeing this truly made him envious, not in a negative or positive way. He then saw a stray attack hit a tree, which had a Burmite that collided with an electrode that burst, causing a string of unfortunate events like locals being startled, small area damage, and so forth. Ash flinched. What is this force? Fortunately, the town has accepted it and hasn't placed the blame on him. They recognize his situation since his presence seems to set up these incidents. Feeling defeated, he gazes up into the sky, wondering if he'll ever find a purpose. Then he thought back on his mother's words and was appreciative of her help during difficult times. He should unwind for a bit and read his favorite book. After a while, Ash decided to text his mother, only to be surprised. His phone has been altered. Upon checking, his data and application remained the same. Suddenly, his phone flashed and found himself in a blank void. What just happened? All around him, the light starts to flicker as they collide to create a creature that is both light and fog. A telepathic voice welcomed him to its realm, and thou must be the arc has chosen. Naturally, Ash was confused by the experience, and as he regained his senses, the being says, "To who I am is but a remnant of the old." Wait, what does he mean by old? It regards on time reality, which is why I summoned thee. But before we discuss further, it must know if thou is the right person for the call. Initially, Ash didn't trust it, but after being assured on getting answers, he finally relents and discloses on who he is. An aimlessly soul seeking a purpose. Be upset on the matter? You're not wrong. He acknowledges his thoughts being unsettling at times, but he has his family who support him no matter what. Sensing truth to his words, the creature decided that Ash would be the Ark's wielder. With that, it shifted the realm seemingly into space, with Earth hovering above. This symbolized our reality. What was once a cosmos in its natural state starts to break apart due to the space-time rip. Several others attempted to halt the process, but the rip took an unforeseen turn and exploded, swallowing everything to create this reality at its current state. After the reset, this version is quite brittle and prone to instability, then displays various worlds and time streams. Thy reality has turned into an anchor that will ultimately collide with other worlds and time periods. The entire bombshell hit Ash like a stampeding toros. He can't fathom on how is this possible, but what about the problem? Is there a way to stop it? Thou must traverse the lands to quell the chaos, find the missing pieces, and guide the lost. That is thy mission. His phone will be used for any future communication and features. Ash then asks about his force, of which the entity is aware but is unaware because it is unable to access information of this world in its current state. He also heeded the cautions to be on the alert from beings who are not from his universe. With that, Ash disappeared in a flash of light. Awakened from his reverie, Ash is met by his mother who's watching him in concern and inquires his well-being after observing his stillness for some time. She asks if he wants to talk about whatever is occupying his mind. Seeing her son's hesitation, the Sinnoh champion reassured to take his time. So, Ash is unsure on how to tell his mom. He can't just tell anyone, but his mother no doubt can help, so decided to quietly tell her everything. And to it all, she believed him. Not only that, they also geek out on the subject. As for that creature is beyond her and may have to find information about it. The biggest question is, what will he do? Even now, it's still hard for him to decide. Cynthia reassured to do one step at a time, so don't overwhelm yourself. Also, she wants to show him a place that could help him. Unbeknownst to all, the space-time rip briefly begins to pulsate across Paseo. They arrive at their destination by car and walk the remaining distance of the pathway. Cynthia explained this place holds a meaning to her for changing her life and hopefully do the same for him, which got Ash stoked. She reminisced about not being here for a long while and begin her ramble of the place till she stopped, not only to apologize but also the area felt off. Ash noticed what his mother is referring. The atmosphere is tenser than usual. On instinct, Cynthia stood in front of Ash, readying her Pokeball as everything begins to shake violently. The rip released a wave that surrounded the entire region, resulting to a rather chaotic shift. Ash got up in a daze once everything had cleared. He's somewhere in the forest, all alone, and hope his mother's okay. Shaking off his doubts, Ash checks his phone for a possible clue. Fortunately, it relates to the various cries he heard nearby. Unfortunately, he abruptly gripped his head in pain that forced him to collapse. Right before blacking out, he sees a small figure fast approaching. Up above the skies, Cynthia and her guardian flew everywhere in search of Ash. To think the rip couldn't get any worse. Her attention was caught by various battles happening below. It seems she isn't the only one misplaced. Whatever Ash is doing, she has faith in him, as Garchomp dives right into the skirmish. When Ash regained conscience, he was startled to see non-Sinnoh native Pokemon were watching him. What's more shocking is the Pokemon's apparent full sentence conversation on what to do with him. Naturally, they were shocked when they learned. With a thrilled Ghost Reptile expresses how perfect it is for a premise like this. In fact, to further the plot, they should get the chief. The others groan at their allies' nonsense, but has a point. And so, Ash followed them to the Mon who lead this clan? While trying to comprehend his new ability by awkwardly chatting his captors. We only learn how the chief had shaped them after the flash. Other than that, everything else is blank to how they got here. As they pass by several wild Pokemon who Ash notes acting almost like they were on a ranch. On the other hand, Jubilife has been open towards him, giving a little insight and remarking about cliches, much to the other's chagrin. Soon enough, they reached the chief, who had finished settling a dispute. Impressed by the leadership, whoever raised Bulbasaur did a fine job. To everyone's shock, the grass starter was overjoyed seeing him, then begins to ask various questions on what's happening, making Ash confused, so he addressed it. "You're not my Ash, are you?" That's when Ash spilled the beans about himself and the situation. So he and several others were flung to another reality. Never thought he would experience what his old friend did. Once everyone is acquainted, Ash then asked everyone to how they got here, all of which were pointed towards the Rip, and this source may not be far away because of their claims are related to a flash that left some confused or hostile. Sure enough, he marked down the path on his phone thanks to the flying types, and was joined by Bulbasaur and Jubilife. The former is impressed and wants to help clear this mess. Ash also promised to find a way to relocate them. As for the latter, he just likes to interact with him more, but also to prove something, which got Ash curious. Thus, the almost trainer, and his unofficial slash kind of mons trek forth towards the source of this flash. During this, Ash begins to learn from Bulbasaur about his other, who have achieved a lot despite his rough start. Always determined to reach his dream, helping others for theirs, and continue to befriend all Pokemon. However, he too shares some aspect of his Ash, even with the difference, and knows he can go above and beyond. You just have to try it. Inspiring not only Ash but Dwippy as well, who can relate to his lack of directions, which further their bond. Their friendly chat has come to an end as they reach the spot, and to say the least, it was something unexpected. Spewing out Pokemon and objects is a miniature Rip hovering above. This could get worse if it keeps up, although his phone, particularly the Arc, seemed to be reacting to the fracture. A huge ball of electricity stopped them from continuing. Whoever this is, it looks mechanical and strangely resembles a Hariyama. A voice warns them not to interfere with the process, then spots Ash's phone. So, you're the one who will threaten the savior. No matter, he'll be dealt accordingly. The robotic sumo launches its sparking palm for a swift execution, only for it to be stopped by vines wrapped around his body. Bulbasaur, despite its size, managed to toss it to a nearby tree. Whatever this Hariyama variant is, it's quite a bruiser, tanking all their hits along with its devastating might that forces them to be on the back foot. Of course, they were on the move, doing as much damage as possible. Using the environments to cover as well as offense, Bulbasaur, being the main attacker with a bit of input from Ash, allowed him to land Leech Seed after using Razor Leaf as a distraction. He followed up with his other moves to help dwindle down the robotic mon. Vice, on the other hand, is where Ash focused the most, given his first stage isn't very well in fights. So, he darts around being an annoyance to Hariyama, even destroying an incoming wood with infestation. As for Ash, he's been gathering materials to aid his mons, dodging attacks and trying to send his location. Wanting to end this game, the Cyber Sumo unleashed a Hyper Beam, blowing back the trio, heavily injuring Dwippy. The hooded figure assuringly jeers he'll be granted a second life once the savior reaches its fullest. Ash stood up, ignoring the pain as he blocks their path. Bulbasaur grinned, then weakly joined him, while Dwippy is shocked. They didn't know each other for the entirety of the video, yet he's willing to protect him? No matter what happens to him, he won't let him harm his friends. The man wasn't impressed and preaches, "Accept your fate, the savior will cleanse them all." Hariyama charged up, fires again at the two, who remained firm as the ghost dragons struggle. Just before the beam made contact, a large figure intercepted the blast. An unharmed Garchomp glares down at the assailant. Cynthia, who upon witnessing the state of her son and the Pokemon, added a hint of anger to her calm manner, calls out Giga Impact. Her Land Shark was enveloped in a spiral of purple and orange energy before dashing so fast that her opponent was unable to react, causing Hariyama to spark on one knee. The man halted. There's no use in fighting someone of champion caliber, but he did warn the teen that he is now an enemy of the savior, before vanishing into thin air. After that, Cynthia then apologized for being late and managed to patch them up to a point they're able to move but requires a Pokemon Center. It was then the glow of his phone, particularly the Arc, reminded Ash on the mini rip. He looks at his phone, then instinctively raised it, releasing a pulse that dissipates the rip. So that's why the Arc is capable of fixing a rip. However, because of his quest, he may need to power it up somehow. Afterwards, Cynthia reported on the misplacement and the rogue figure to the authorities. Hours have passed since then. She talked to a now fully recovered Ash at a less populated spot on the events. To say the least, she was glad, though a bit confused on his ability, thinking it's a close bond, but he insists with the two Mon cry out for confirmation. In the end, Cynthia was nonchalant and is curious on its effect. She also updated him on the prior problem has been settled, minus the whereabouts of the rogue man. As for Bulbasaur, they decide to send him to Professor Rowan's lab. It's the least they can do given his situation, to which the starter doesn't mind and tells Ash to consider what he told him, and if he ever needs help, just call. After one phone call, they bid farewell to Bulbasaur, with Ash promising to find and bring the others home. Up next was Drippy, who isn't here. Wondering where he is, they'd search everywhere, including asking a few, with no luck. Much to Ash's disappointment. His mother pats him on the back. I'm sure it won't be the last time they'll see him. The following day were uneventful for mother and son, not counting Ash's karma. Reaching Amity Square, where both walked to a ruin where curiosity filled Ash. Prior to starting her journey, his great-grandmother took her here. She too was troubled on her path. That was until this quote changed her life. When every life meets another life, something will be born. She smiles at her son's amazement. Because of this, it led her to unforgettable moments in all those travels, failures, success, the various people and Pokemon she met. This experience led her to discover something new, which made Ash's eyes widen. Several thoughts were coursing through his head that wants to experience again, yet his doubts keep pulling him. Cynthia encouraged to follow your heart on what you truly feel. You need to make your own decision, especially now since you're not a kid anymore. You have to start believing in yourself. Taking a deep breath, he focused. He can't just ignore what's happening, along with a yearn to explore. Thinking back on that mishap made him realize he's been missing out for far too long. So, he tells his mother he'll do it and thanks her for helping him. She smiled, telling him to not compare himself to others, especially her. She always believes in him and knows one day he'll find himself. Wow, that was inspiring. Ash jumped at the voice and cannot believe who it is. Cynthia watches silently, having a feeling on what's about to happen. Ash learned Drippy didn't join the others, instead he followed him so something interesting would happen. Also, Pete doesn't want to be lost. However, after what you have heard, you and I aren't too different. So if he doesn't mind, can he tag along? Like those Pokemon with humans. Wait, are you sure? Yeah, and besides, I'm the only pick for the author to not rehash other versions. Ash looks to his mom, who gave him an encouraging nod. So, he ready his ball. Alright, let's travel together, Drippy. The dual type smirk. By the way, from now on, call me Vice. I'd rather be called by my real name. He accepted his capture with no struggle. His mother congratulated him. The two of them will do great. Still, they need to work hard, especially when raising a dragon type. Ash assured they will do their best. And so for the rest of their time, they enjoyed the peaceful scenery and bond as a family for what would be a long while. The next day outside of town, Cynthia reminds her son on the lesson she had taught him, then turned to Vice, asking him to look after her son, who salute rather eagerly. Ash hugged his mom, expressing his cautiously excitement for his journey. Don't worry, it usually happens to some who are starting out. He'll eventually get used to it. Also, be sure to call her if he needs help or talk. She would love to hear his travels. Right, he will, as Vice tugged his sleeves, signaling to hurry up. So, he bid farewell to his mom, who hoped his quest could positively change him. Ash and Vice travel through the long road ahead, unsure on what the arc is leading them to. It will surely help restore all reality. What they know so far is that this journey will take them all across Pasio and its lands, with the bizarre aspect of it all. Nevertheless, to what will they face and who they will meet, it will be interesting to say the least. He hopes while fixing this mess, he can find himself in the process with his new partner. So to answer a question, who is he? Well, he's just a trainer who's traveling in search of a dream. Remember that. Ash and Vice continue on, looking forward for what this journey has in store, whilst ignoring his intrusive thoughts. And that is where we're gonna be leaving things for right now. So, what do you all think? This is probably going to be my most insane story that I made so far, which is likely that I need all of your feedbacks and criticisms. Please be mindful with them because this is a first time doing this kind of thing and I'm not sure. And I get to those who are indifferent with it. I myself is, well, undecided and worry of it. That's why with the multiple ideas and the template being Cynthia being the Redux, this became the result of, well, that worriness. And it's not a guaranteed that I'm coming back to Pokemon because it's the reason why I, well, got into a hiatus. So that's why I'm a little bit, well, not as productive as I was. So I'm sorry for that one. But again, I hope you all enjoyed this one. And please give me your feedbacks and criticisms. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.